We'll ask for a
Roll call.
Mayor Schrager,
here.
Councilman Bialy,
Here.
Councilman Knapp,
Here.
Councilman Kamala,
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli, which is
We got
absent.
somebody.
Oh, Councilman Levy. Levy.
What, Kamali got right and Levy got right?
Councilman Talamini.
Here.
Now ask for a motion. Is there a motion from anyone?
I'd like to make a motion that Pat Pignatelli be excused.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now you're going to say, well, first you're going to make this announcement.
Please turn off cell phones. Refrain from texting because it's discourteous, disruptive,
And could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. We're sharing. So at this time, you're going to ask everybody to stand
to salute the flag
and stay standing.
for a moment of silence.
Go ahead. My pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence.
Be seated. I think this is an appropriate time for all the students identify themselves, so we're going to start with Jessica.
I'm Jessica Fendi,
And you're in
8th grade.
8th grade, and what is your role at student council?
I'm the VMS class president.
Very nice. Now, who
My
wants
name
to...
is Giacomo Scolici. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm the VMS secretary.
My name is Evan Gentili. I'm in 8th grade and I am the vice president of VMS.
My name is Maya Waters. I'm in 8th grade and I'm a cabinet member.
My name is Carly Spinella. I'm in 8th grade and I'm a cabinet member.
So as you can see, there aren't as many students as there are elected officials up here, so some are sharing. So at this time, Jessica is going to read the meeting announcement.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced and advertised and posted in the municipal building.
Right. And we're going to share the mayor's report, and Jessica has chosen to do the first section. As a reminder, these are reminder dates.
Saturday, May 12th, there's the town shredding at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday, May 27th, there's the Memorial Day Parade. It starts at 1 p.m. June 13th through June 16th is the Town Carnival. The fireworks will be held Friday night, June 15th.
And the explanation for that is because last year we had fireworks, we were supposed to have fireworks on Saturday night, it was rained out. We could not get the firework company to come back on Sunday. It was Father's Day. So the committee has decided to try this, where the fireworks are scheduled for Friday night, and if it's rained out, they could come on Saturday night. And I thought this was very important. I received this message from Rockland Electric, and it is that Orange and Rockland Electric, warns its customers today about a new phony bill payment scheme, this time in Spanish on Facebook, in which crooks, this is from, I'm repeating, Rockland Electric directly, in which crooks pose as consultants who offer to help customers pay their debts. In reality, the crooks are stealing the customers' money. The thieves say on Facebook that if customers wire a percentage of their electric, cable, cell phone, or any utility bill to the scammers, the crooks will put up the difference to fully pay the bill. The example the phony post uses is if a customer's bill is $250, the customer can wire the thief $150 and the thief will cover the rest. That's what they're claiming on Facebook. It looks too good to be true. That's because it isn't true. The scammer doesn't cover the customer's bill. The scammer steals the customer's money. To make, that is a vibrating phone.
That's Councilman Levy. Leave it. They ruined Kathy's journey. Well, now it's asking stupid questions.
To make things worse, after the customer sends the payment to the scammer, the thieves send the customer a bogus 646 phone number for the customer to call to confirm that the payment was received by the company and that the bill was paid in full. Once again, not true. No payment was made on the account. The thieves stole the customer's money that was intended to pay the bill. The thieves had no intention of helping retire the debt, and the bill still needs to be fully paid. Don't let this happen to you. If you have any questions, it says call customer service at Rockland Electric, but I'm advising everybody to call us at Borough Hall, and we will forward it to the police, and we will deal with the police department, because it is illegal what they're doing. It's a criminal act, and please don't be fooled by this. So, at this time, what are you going to do?
Open for public
Is
discussion.
there a motion?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
who would like to speak?
I thought you were going to do the fireman first, but all right.
Well, no, everybody wants to hear you, Frank.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, wait a minute.
Frank Monaco.
No, Jessica has to ask you, you have to ask name and address.
Name and address, please.
Frank Monaco, 60 Thackeray Road, Oakland. Okay. Now, three things. Number one, the gas company came around on Thackeray, and they are replacing the meters. Some they're bringing outside, some they're not. They've done the section that they wanted to do in that area right now. They finished up. They'll be back in 3 months to repave the street. They
So
got to
what's
give
going
it a
to
chance
happen?
to settle.
Well, wait a minute, our engineer, what is going to happen between the work and 3 months from now?
Well, you got to give all the digging that they dig in the street
Okay.
a chance to pack down, redo it. Then they're going to rip it up anyway and then put down new. But they
We'll be
went down
watching.
5 foot. So, and they did a nice job. They had their act together pretty good.
Good.
All right, that's one. Number two.
Remember, we have children here.
Did I say anything wrong?
No, not yet.
You were talking to me. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to the mayor.
Okay, Jessica, you were sitting in.
Mayor, last meeting, we were discussing the Van Allen house and the mill, which for 40 years we've been discussing it. Now, every time you say for us to do something, all right, somebody comes up with an excuse why you can't do it. Now, last week it came up, well, you can't do it, it's going to cost you a lot of money because there's asbestos on the outside coating of the building. Well, that asbestos has been there for 40 years, more than that, but it's been deteriorating, and it's falling into the brook, which then goes into the lake. So, I'm surprised we let that go for so long of a time, because you're polluting. All right? So either way, it's going to cost us to get rid of that asbestos. Now, fortunately, how I feel, but already I got an excuse, a town down in Jersey had the same problem.
What town?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I caught it too late.
Oh.
Okay? They sold the property. No penalty. Okay? They got rid of a headache. They collected taxes. And they made money. Now, from what I understand, according to Rich, that there's a penalty because we took money for the last 15 years.
Not for the stream house.
No, we have taken grant money for the stream house for emergency repairs.
Okay? That's fine. Pay them their money back out of the profit of selling the property. All right? But it's time to get rid of it. It's cost this town enough. These young ladies and gentlemen, God bless them if they're here in Oakland, for another 20 years, they'll be facing the same problem. So it's time to make a decision.
Tell him no.
No.
I didn't say anything.
No, I know. No, it's wonderful that you have a nice, clear mind and believe everything politicians tell you. But you'll find out. You'll get a good lesson. Linda, never try to get the best of me. I
Wait a
gave
minute,
you two
wasn't that number
things.
two? There was a third.
Yeah, you know what, I'm not gonna bring it up now, I know the young ladies and gentlemen wanna go home. Thank
Well,
you.
you'll stay for cake.
What did you say?
You'll stay for cake.
Oh.
All right, what are you going to say now?
Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Jerry Anger-Mueller, 24 Lakeview Terrace in Oakland. I'd like to say that the Oakland Historical Society appreciates the fact that the town is trying and working to restore both the rest of the Van Allen House and the Stream House. That's, I know people are concerned about the stability of it, but there were a number of people just a few years ago, I don't know if Margaret Hickey was in it too, but other official people were in the building, upstairs in the building, and it's really a lot more stable than you think. And
You're talking about the Van Allen house.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Stream House. I'm talking
It's
about
stable upstairs?
we have, yes, that's what people don't realize, and people say, oh, it's gonna fall down, and somebody suggested we should ask Mike to give it a push, but I don't want him to get a hernia. Because it's not going to go that fast, seriously. There were a few people, I don't know, maybe Rich, were you upstairs? There was
I
somebody
was there
from...
about 10 years ago, and there were several areas where I was advised not to walk.
But we did walk upstairs, and the
10 years
stability of the
ago.
house is incredibly secure. There's an old stone fireplace inside
Well, don't
the house.
encourage it because of insurance reasons.
No, but, well, I mean,
The
John said...
the building's locked, nobody can go in.
No, nobody can go in there. I'm
Yes.
talking about for the restoration of it, but there are parts of it, that there's an old stone fireplace that could have to be reserved. There's a lot that needs to be restored, obviously, but just, people are saying it's about give it a push and it'll fall, and that's not so certain. It's going to be more than that, and we're just really glad that the town is working to do some preservation work on it. Mr. Edward Page that built that building was the second mayor. His picture is over on the
I was
wall.
wondering why you were pointing to the fire department.
No, behind the fire department, Edward Page was there, and I think he was the second mayor of the town, so he was important in starting the fire department. He passed the ordinance that started the Oakland Fire Department. He started the Oakland schools. He ran the industrial produce business there, and it's really an integral part of the town, Mr. Edward Page that built the Stream House. So I think that should be emphasized when it's restored or whatever is done to replace it.
Well, it's on the agenda tonight.
Exactly, right, yeah, that's what I
And
wanted
it's
to mention.
to authorize Connolly and Hickey, Margaret Hickey, who you
Right,
mentioned,
right,
to perform a cost estimate of what they think it's going to cost us.
Right, I know there are different possibilities, and it'd be nice if they'd pick the less expensive possibilities, which, there are different possibilities. But I'm glad that, we just had History Day there the other day, and at the Van Allen House.
At the Van Allen House, right.
We had a lot of visitors who were very impressed with the history of Oakland, so
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys are working on that.
Thank you. Let's see if there's anybody else who wishes to speak.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak?
If not, motion to close.
Motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll just do the minutes and then we will do the fire department. All right, the first one is from April 11, 2018. Is there, this is the regular meeting of April 11, 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions, corrections? If none, roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Here, yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumala,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Talamina.
Yes.
Then we have the budget meeting on Monday, April 23rd, 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumala,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Talamina.
Yes.
Then we have the meeting of April 25th, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumala,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Talamina.
Yes.
I figure by the end of the meeting, he'll get your name exactly right.
Well, I remember the planning board meeting in Cassie that one night.
Right, she couldn't, right. So now we have meetings from the executive session. One of them doesn't have a date on it. There's from March 28th, April 25th. So the one that doesn't have a date, we'll assume is April 11th, is that correct?
I'll fix it.
Okay, so we'll start with March 28th. So you all have copies of the minutes from the executive session. If there's going to be any changes or comments, it must be done during executive session. So we'll start with March 28th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any addition, corrections? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumalo,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Palomino.
Yes.
Okay, the one that doesn't have a date on top, that's April 11th executive session. Motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumalo,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Palomino.
Yes.
Okay, I know what you mean.
And the last one for executive session is April 25th, 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kumalo,
Yes.
Councilman Levy, Councilman Palomino.
Yes.
We have an appointment to a new firefighter for our Oakland Volunteer Fire Department, and his name is Joseph Curse, correct? Curse? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we need to swear him in. You ready?
Sure.
Sure.
Joseph?
Do I stand?
Yes, you stand. You come
Okay.
with me.
Oh, we're going down there. Okay. Here, you go first.
So Mayor,
Yes.
while you're doing this, I just think it's important for everybody, you guys all know, but for the public to know and you to know that Joe comes to us with 22 years' experience in Palisades Park.
Oh,
And he was fire chief from 2012 to 2017. And now he works for is it County Parks.
Yep.
And
County Parks.
oh.
lives up in Camp Tamarack, so him and
Well,
Yogi
so
the
you know
Bear.
John?
No, I don't think we've met.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure we will.
Okay, you ready? We're going to read the oath of office. Okay, we need the Bible. This is one of the best parts about being mayor, swearing in a firefighter, because it's volunteer. We thank you. And I repeat this every time I go to a function. I listen to other mayors at my mayor's meetings, and they're always complaining we don't have enough people, and I am so thankful for this fire department. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, who's holding the Bible? Are you holding the Bible? Do you need help? Want Jessica to help you? Yes, want to help?
Sure.
It's heavy. Want to help her?
Sure. You got it?
Okay. Right hand up. Ready? I, Joseph Kurtz,
I, Joseph Kurtz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and the governments
and the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of firefighter for the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department.
of Office of Firefighter and Oakland Volunteer Fire Department.
Close enough. Thank you. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. Let me shake your hand. And thank you. And what's your name? You have to sign, don't go away. All right. I had to say something. Mr. Suffolk.
I'm on the second floor, Council. Oh, okay.
Yo, Marcelino.
Yeah. We get up before we do, make it.
Oh, 7436. Got it?
Thank you much.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right.
Very good.
Okay, here we go.
Good luck, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Just need
Now, to our volunteer fire department, you're welcome to stay, but leave the cake if you leave. Take with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What do we call them? Can't call them students.
Put a period at the end of thank you. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, the next thing is a raffle license 1333 for the Ramapo Bergen Animal Refuge for these dates. You want to read the dates, the raffle?
6/13/2018, 6/14/2018, 6/15/2018, and 6/16/2018.
In other words, during the carnival.
Yep.
No. And it's for, they're going to have plush novelties and candy and miscellaneous items from $1 to $20, and all proceeds will go to the care of the animals at the Ramapo Animal Refuge. And is there a
Motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We have resolutions, and I'll do this quickly. We're going to do this as a consent agenda. If you wish to have any pulled out, just speak up. Resolution 18-201 is to refund taxes 103 Yorpo, and that is block 4101, lot 20, to, and I apologize for the names, Natrampali Savaji Guhan, for $82.29. 18202 is to refund redemption monies to outside lien holder for tax sale lien 1754, block 4504, lot 68, known as 32 Dakota Avenue, to Christina Trust as custodian, $6,992.13. 18203, resolution to reestablish the Borough of Oakland Green Team, which helps ensure the long-term economic, environmental, and social sustainability of the community, and that's resolution 18203. 18204 is authorized engineer for the 2018 road program to Boswell McClave. They submitted a proposal on April 19, 2018 for a fee for the design and construction phase not to exceed $150,000. 18207, tax appeal settlement, 100 Bauer Drive, and it is the tax year 2011. The complaint will be withdrawn. Assessment $3,596,700 shall remain intact. Tax year 2012, $3,596,700 will be reduced to $3 million. Tax year 2013, complaint will be withdrawn. The assessment of $3,596,700 shall remain intact. Tax years 2014 and 15, the assessment of $3,596,700 shall be reduced to $3 million. Tax years to 2016, 17, and 18, the assessment of $3,596,700 will be reduced to $3,400,000, resulting in a total refund of $63,103.52. 18208, refund redemption, monies to an outside lien holder, the tax sale lien 1773, block 5203, lot 36, known as 40 Winona Avenue, and it's $10,094.14, payable to Christiana Trust as custodian. 18-2009, authorized Connolly and Hickey Historical Architect to prepare a cost estimate for the stream house in the amount not to exceed $2,500 for the cost estimate. 18 to 11. I'm missing some. That goes with the budget. 18 to 13, hire seasonal laborer for the Department of Public Works, Bradley Hildebrand, and the effective date is May 14, 2018, at $12 an hour. And 214, that was just given to us tonight. Yes, that is to appoint per diem dispatchers. The police captain has requested appointment for per diem dispatchers, and appointing of Yazid Abdul, again, I apologize for the name, Yazid Abdulaziz at a step 2 salary of $25 per hour, and Jason Crawford at step 1 salary of $25 per hour, effective May 10th, 2018. Are there anybody wishes to pull out? If not, is there a motion for consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Biala.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kumala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Go ahead.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Isn't it Levi?
It's
Levi?
No, it's Levy.
Oh, she thinks of the jeans?
She's just trying to help.
Oh. All right, now we have a public hearing of the budget amendment. We have to open to the public. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on, if we could see it, is it on? Could you make that bigger?
Work in process.
Yeah, it's still not working.
Distribution of property tax levy. Would you like to explain this because I can't see it?
I will.
Well, there's a big blue circle
There we
with a
go.
little green pie in it.
Yeah, so it's a little hard to read. I was asked to put this together for tonight, just so everybody
Very
understands.
pretty. You did this?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. Not the color palette I would have chosen, sorry, but that kind of pre-formatted. I was asked to put this together just to explain a little bit as far as where your property tax dollars go. We're adopting our budget tonight, and that has a tax levy as opposed to a levy, which is the same as last year. There's no increase in it, except a little bit for the library, but the main municipal levy is staying the same. So everybody understands, we collect about 25% of, well, we collect all of it. Municipality is always responsible for collecting all of the property tax dollars that are levied. But we only use a quarter of it. A quarter of the total levy goes to support our budget. 10% goes to the county. That includes the county tax and the county open space tax. And the other 65% go to both the Oakland School District and the Regional High School District. And that's what the pie chart shows.
All right, just so everybody understands, when you make your property tax payment, which is quarterly, the municipality in New Jersey, the law is the municipality collects all the taxes for all the agencies and all the government departments. So we collect the money for the municipal property tax for Oakland. We collect the money on behalf of the schools, and we collect the money on behalf of the county. Then, when you pay your taxes, we then pay their share. And if you look at the pie, which is in 1, 2, 3 different colors, you will see, even though we, Oakland Borough, is collecting your tax dollar, for every dollar that you give us, we only get the yellow part of the pie. The green part of the pie is the amount of money that goes to the county, and the blue part of the pie goes to both the local school system and the regional schools. So for every dollar you pay to Oakland, we get to keep 25 cents, 10 cents goes to the county, and the difference of 65 cents, that's what's going to the schools. So when you look at your tax bill, just remember, Oakland Borough is only getting 25%, 10% to the county, and a majority of your tax dollar goes to the local and the regional schools. So, we now have do you want to add to that, or do you want to we opened it to the public?
I think we can go right to the public hearing.
Anybody wish to speak on the taxes?
Right, well, this is specifically on the
pie.
public hearing on the amendment that we introduced at the last meeting.
All right, but everybody sees the pie. Okay, then if there's nobody wish to speak, cake? Oh, we'll call it a brown cake. Okay, then it's a motion to close.
Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Oh, no, that's,
So, all in favor?
Aye.
now we have resolution 18 to 11, self-examination of the budget. And that, Mr. Combs, you want to explain this?
Sure. Usually every 2 out of every 3 years, the borough is eligible to review its own budget as opposed to having the state review it. That's a long-standing practice. This year, we're eligible for self-exam, and we're just required to do a resolution that certifies that we've done what's required of us by the state when we do that self-review.
All right, so, there,
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
appointing,
Roll call.
right?
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kulmala,
Yes.
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Talamina.
Yes.
And now we have resolution 18 to 12, which is the adoption of the budget as amended. Do you, is there a,
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
all right, discussion. Mr. Kunz, you want to explain resolution 18 to 12?
Sure, this is, well, as the name implies, the adoption of the 2018 fiscal year budget as amended. It includes revenues and expenditures or appropriations, and is, if I can find total revenues $19,531,304.93. That includes a main portion of the tax levy, $13,877,937, and matching appropriations of $19,531,304.93.
Now, this just takes care of the municipal level of the taxes.
Correct.
That is what Oakland gets to keep. That's that 25% of your every dollar. And how does that compare to last year?
The main municipal levy is actually down a few $100s, and there is a small, I think it's about a 3% increase or so on the library tax levy, which is set by state formula.
Can you explain that? How that
The library formula?
Yeah.
Sure.
The Reader's Digest version.
Yeah. So the state has a formula that dictates how much money free libraries in the state receive. It's a third of a mil of the 3 years average assessed valuation. So they take a look at that figure, they apply your rate, and they come up with an annual amount that a municipality must fund its library with through the tax levy. We can provide more, a supplemental appropriation in the rest of the levy, but the library levy itself is dictated by the state. There are years when it goes up, like this year. There are other years when you see it, like we saw in the recession, when there's a long decline in property values, where you'll see that allocation go down as well. So it kind of fluctuates along with property values.
Anybody have any comments? If not, roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yeah. Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Kulmala,
Yes.
Councilman Leavitt,
Yes.
Councilman Talamina.
Yes.
We have no ordinances for tonight, so we will go right into work session, and you ask Mr. Coons.
Yes, thank you. Mayor, I'd like to just skip the SRTS one just for a moment while I load up the next set of slides. If we can go on to the Title 39 enforcement.
Okay.
And maybe Steve can handle that, and John if needed as well.
The ordinance for
The
parking?
ordinance for the parking.
For the traffic?
Yes.
Sure. Well, I know what it says. I know what it says. Yeah, the Crossroads development has a lot of interior roadways, to say the least, and I think the mayor and council determined, by the way, this is the property, just I use Crossroads to describe the development. It's the Walgreens, the bank, and the Starbucks, that property. And because there are so many inner roadways, I wasn't here, but I'm assuming that the police determined that we should be regulating those interior roadways, since there must have been some problems and some accidents.
Well, I am going to comment on this. I think we did it, well, whoever allowed that at the time did it a disservice, because I use the bank, I go to Walgreens, I'm really not a Starbucks fan, but I'm always passing Starbucks, and there's always a line blocking in and out after the bank. I've come out of the bank, I should say, come out of the shopping center to get onto 202 South, and people are coming in, making a left turn northbound on 202, stopping traffic to make a left turn to go in, almost hit me once when I was coming out at the exit. I have beat my horn. Today, I had to go to the bank again, so I come in, I was coming from my office, so I had to make a left on West Oakland Avenue, come in, go around, and it's like a speedway in there. And I'm saying to myself, I almost got hit by somebody coming out of the Starbucks line, getting coffee, and it's a disaster. And I don't know how many accidents, do we have any reports of how many accidents are in there?
I don't have any data on that.
It's awful.
Mayor, can I chime in?
Please.
I came out of Walgreens 2 days ago, and I came out, and my car was parked directly across from the doors. And I started walking across, and a car came through the parking lot. I thought he must have thought he was on 287, because he was doing about 35 miles an hour, and he ran around the corner in front of me and pulled in front of Starbucks, and the whole car emptied out. I got my car, I rode down. I said, "Do you think you're on the highway?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Because you were doing 30 miles an hour through a parking lot." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I mean, I wanted to call a cop and just make a citizen's arrest, but what's going to happen in there? Somebody's going to get hit, and it's going to be not a good sight to see. So either they have to mind their business in that parking lot, or some rules have to change.
So as a result, there are certain regulations being codified as an ordinance respecting parking in the development, stop signs in the development.
I want that read.
One-way as opposed to two-way traffic on certain of the areas, which will all be, have signage so that anyone using the Crossroads Shopping Center will know.
And I'm sure the
You
police
want me to read
upstairs,
this?
the police upstairs are listening to us. I have asked this over and over again to our traffic officer. People stop, they see the sign Starbucks. They stop on 202 and want to go left. There's no left turn into that shopping center on 202 North. It's a mess coming out of the entrance and exit by Walgreens onto West Oakland Avenue. In fact, Luca, which is the Italian restaurant formerly known as Tony's, had to put up barricades because people were going into his lot and almost hitting his glass windows. I don't know what we can do. I mean, what do we have the right to do about the traffic pattern in that shopping center?
Put up a speed bumps, put up speed bumps.
I mean, do we have the right to do this in a
Well,
private
we do,
shopping
of
center?
course we do. You have the right to enforce, and now you have, now by this ordinance, you now have allowed and authorized your police department to enforce regulations and to give summonses and to police the entire area. That's the purpose of this. So let everyone know that that Oakland is gonna start enforcing its regulations on the interior of private property, which is allowed under the law, Title 39.
And we have a response from Frank Fiore, from the Traffic Safety Bureau, who said, I have also reviewed the draft of the Oakland Borough Ordinance 7-39.2 that will allow the enforcement of Title 39 in that area, which means we will be allowing our police to go in there. Both are acceptable. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. So can we can enforce them to put up signs, paint the arrows?
Yes, put up one-way signage, put up stop signs, enforce speed limits. I think the speed limit would be 15.
What's the speed
Is it
limit?
15? I thought it was 5.
What's the speed limit in a shopping center?
10 miles.
See the 10.
15.
Certainly
I
not
thought it was
30,
15.
certainly
It's
not
not
25 or
30.
30.
It's not 25 or 30.
No.
It's 5, 10, or 15.
Wait, I'm sorry, what do you think?
I have no 2000.
Probably says 10.
Oh.
Good job, Pat. Good job.
Thank you for your input, we appreciate that. So, any comments? Does anybody from the public, I mean, I know this is irregular, but this is such an important thing. Go ahead, Frank.
Life is simple. In the shopping center itself, when you enter and when you're exiting, and in between, put up little speed bumps. You don't have to be big ones, but that's certainly going to, because they all got wonderful cars, they don't want to damage their cars. I think you'll find you'll slow it down pretty good,
I hope you're right.
all right? And probably more than any signs you do, you know, and you can't keep a cop there all day long, all right? But you're right, that place is dangerous, all right? Coming in and coming out. I'm surprised this hasn't been brought to the attention sooner.
Well, I have complained so much about people. I told you they're on 202 northbound. They see the Starbucks sign, or they see the bank or Walgreens. They said, "Oh, I have to go in there," and they make a left into the exit.
Well, they also go in to beat the light when the traffic is backed up, so they go in.
That's illegal, by
And
the
they
way.
go around.
That's
well,
2 points.
Listen, a lot of things are illegal. But anyway, they go in and they go in front of Tony Brothers.
Right.
And go out to get on 287 or West Oakland Avenue. You know, we all live here, we know what goes on. To cure it is another story.
Right.
But that's what I suggest, the speed bumps. And I think you'll find you really slowed it down.
Thank you. Any other comments? So are we putting this on for,
It'll be on for introduction at the next meeting.
thank you. All right, SRTS alignment.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This relates to a sidewalk program that we have to facilitate pedestrian access to and from our schools. It continues a project that was embarked upon several years ago. We've handled different phases already with sidewalks around the Dogwood area and the Manitou area. This is meant to address Heights and Valley Middle School. It's backed by a $290,000 DOT grant, which is actually federal money, federal pass-through money, and there are a whole lot of different criteria that come with that. The first step that we're talking about here tonight is to give feedback and guidance on the alignment of the sidewalks so that the design engineer can scope out their work, then submit a proposed contract or cost for their efforts to DOT for approval. That'll eventually come to the borough for contracting and a separate side agreement with DOT as well under the grant. So we wanted to get your feedback. We'll take each area in turn. And I should preface this a little bit by saying that the borough engineer, John Chemic, has met with the police. They've been out at the site as well. And earlier this year, we had a site visit with engineers from the DOT and the design engineer as well. And this is kind of an outcome of all of that. So the first area for Heights School, as you can see, or hopefully see from the mapping that you have, we would like to run sidewalk, or the proposed route would run sidewalk from Franklin Ave. We go from Rutgers, from Franklin to Princeton, then turn and go up Princeton to Fordham, Fordham then to Tulane, Tulane to Stevens, and into the school entrance that way. There's part of it, the dash line, that would include a loop back around, mostly on Loyola. That is, if I understand correctly, less of a priority due to lower traffic volumes, and may or may not be included at council's discretion and based on cost.
You said on Rutgers, and this doesn't show a sidewalk on Rutgers.
Yeah, I think that was just left off, but I think the intent, John, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's where Jessica lives.
It's to go out to, all the way out to Franklin, correct?
And Coley?
That is, you guys want a sidewalk there?
We don't have a sidewalk.
We don't have a sidewalk.
But do you want a sidewalk?
That'd be cool.
I have to say, I feel like the street would be too small. Because we already have a small street.
There you go.
Small street.
Really? Oh, yeah. We do kind of.
I'm with her. She thinks
Yeah,
that I
Mark,
can.
you know a street better than me.
Well, Mayor, John Chemic, Town Engineer, if I could address that about the street being narrow. This is just a preliminary scoping for the other engineering firm to take a look at to see if the road is too narrow, to make the necessary measurements, to make sure that there's enough room for cars to pass and also for pedestrians to pass with a sidewalk and a curb, and to be able to have a place for the snow to go when it snows. So all these things will be looked at in the next phases going forward.
Is there any input by the residents here? Do they get any say
Yes.
that their property's getting dug up?
Carly and Jessica just spoke.
Well, yeah, but I mean about the Carly and Jessica's parents who are going now have to shovel the sidewalk and do things that they don't normally do now.
And yes, and that there is, once we kind of get through this process, but before a lot of the detailed design work is undertaken, we should have a community meeting with the residents that would be affected. That's something that DOT indicated that should happen, and to gauge whether or not there's support in that community for the work or not. They don't really want to support or advance projects that do not have that community support. So that is an important element and something that we should be doing. Probably, John, I'm going to assume sometime over late spring, early summer, probably, and something we would work on.
Yes.
That is very important because when I first became mayor, remember with the incident we had on Page Drive?
Yes.
And we had to have the police there,
Yes.
and the resident was irate because all of a sudden they were putting sidewalks in front of, on the side of his house, and no one told him. And the engineer claimed that she tried to get in touch with him, and he wasn't around. And all of a sudden, they're digging up his lawn for sidewalks. So we have to be really, think about it.
100% acceptance by the residents, Mayor.
Yes, good, okay. We learned
And
about
just so you
mistakes.
know, as it affects the grant as well, because I'd asked this when we met with them. If, let's say, the community there doesn't support it, it's really no harm, no foul in terms of the grant. They understand that this sort of thing, happens from time to time. As long as we're not embarking upon detailed design in that area, it's really just, okay, that portion of the project is out and we move on.
Was the school included in the path, choice?
Valley Middle School was involved early on when we had applied for the grant, and I believe that there was an endorsement letter from them in the grant package as well. That was conceptual. You will get to the next slide. It's getting a little bit more refined now. I don't know that we've gotten back to them with any sort of feedback on that new alignment yet. But in general, they were supportive of the concept of providing better pedestrian access to the school.
Could I just
Mayor, can I just piggyback on that question? So will the schools
Are we
have
letting him speak?
input
Wait a minute.
on this
Jessica, are we letting him
project?
speak? Yes. Well, she's letting him speak.
Didn't I used to coach you? Thank you, Mayor Pendy. No, my question was, you know, when the process is all said and done, I mean, will the schools have input on this? Since it is
We can certainly go to them and have a meeting about this and talk to them about it and get their views on it.
Right. I mean, it is a safe routes to school project.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
So my other question too, Rich, I guess, or John, is utilities, whether above ground or underground, is there a lot of work that needs to be adjusted to allow for? I know up in this area, at least by Stevens and Tulane in that area, they did the striping, the fake sidewalk, so to speak. And did that not work? Is that not good enough?
That's on Stevens. That was noted, I think, during our site visit that it's something that we could tie into,
right.
Potentially. This goes beyond what that striping was. And yes, there would be, and when we get to that point, if the project moves forward, I think a lot of the effort by the design engineer is to deal with those possible encroachments in the right-of-way, utility pole relocation, and things of that. They do exist in that area.
All right, my last statement, I promise, on this one is, has there been, like, what's the reason for putting it here? The Heights seems like a rarely kind of a quiet neighborhood. Are there complaints? Are there issues? Are the police saying that this is necessary? Are the residents complaining that there's people almost getting hit? I just, like, where did this come from?
The genesis of this was a policy set out several years back where we wanted to, where the then council wanted to expand sidewalks around the schools, make the town as a whole more pedestrian friendly. And we talked about a great deal of different projects and locations. They decided that they wanted to focus first and foremost on the areas around the schools. That particular area that you see, that's kind of a loop, if I recall correctly, that came out of discussions with the police department then over where they would most be needed. And that was basically brought forth, and that's the genesis of it.
Anything else? Okay, at this time.
Well, do you want to see the other, I think we should talk a little bit about the alignment for Valley Middle School as well. So just let me bring that up. So the original concept here would have had it running from Ramapo Valley Road all the way down and around Oak Street, past the DPW facility, and into Valley Middle School that way. After the tour that we did earlier in the spring, that wasn't determined really to be preferable or really feasible. There are a lot of, on-street parking, directly off-street parking, things like that. And it, kind of based on where we think the kids actually walk as well, we decided that the alignment that you see here would make more sense and probably get more use. So it takes you from the area of the intersection with Ramapo Valley Road down, it crosses you over into Municipal Plaza, runs along the fence line there by that first row of cars, then crosses at McGinnis and runs down the side of McGinnis, starting alongside the Borough Hall, and brings everybody into the Valley Middle School by the parking lot.
Mayor Pendy, can I ask a quick question? Sure. Mr. Coons or the borough engineer, looking at the one from Valley School, I just have a couple questions. Wouldn't it make sense, instead of having Oak Street on the far side by the shopping center, come along the park side, so that now you got the children, they can come out of, not only that, they come out of the library, they can pick up the sidewalk, walk straight up Oak Street across the other side, and I think it'd be more practical. Plus, you're not taking, you only have one property to deal with instead of 2 or 3 on the other side.
Okay, who put this food decided where on Oak?
Well, this is still a bit conceptual. John, do you want to address that at all?
This was the genesis of a walkthrough from representatives of the New Jersey Department of Transportation who are funding this effort. Myself, Rich, and I believe who else was through that walk? The police were not there yet, but they endorsed it later. And we took a couple of routes, and the thinking is that you want to traverse as little vehicular roadways as possible. So this route, we're open to suggestions, obviously, but this route was felt to be the safest route that had the least amount of crossings of vehicular traffic. The route that the councilman is talking of, I believe, will take it through the parking lot, which might be a longer route through vehicular traffic.
I think what he's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman, but on Oak Street, you have it on the side where the church is, rather than the side where the park is. So that means they have to cross over where people are coming out of the shopping center.
Across Oak Street. Right.
So they're crossing where they're coming out of the shopping center, then they're crossing over Oak again into the lot. Whereas if they cross at Rampo Valley Road, where aren't there crosswalks there? On the corner?
There are, yes.
At the traffic light, let them cross there and walk on the side where the park is.
We will certainly suggest that if that's, by the way, this is open to both sides of the street. Even though it's shown on one side of the street, I asked the DOT engineer if we could flip it to the other side. Is that a big problem? No, absolutely not. So we could certainly flip it to the other side of the street.
That's another issue we have, is people coming out of that shopping center, going across into the municipal lot, making a left onto West Oakland, onto Oak Street, and they don't know where they are because they know they can't make a turn onto Rampo Valley Road to go north. So they're directed to come out of that shopping center, then they have to go around, they're looking, what am I going to do? And they're not going to be paying attention to children crossing up.
Mayor, just one more comment. Just looking at the coming out of the library real quick, is there any way that, let's say you keep the red line where it is, but and maybe bring the West Oakland Ave to the other side on the park side? Is there any way we can get a little sidewalk also right here?
You mean Oak Street?
Coming out of the library, right.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes, Councilman, that makes sense. I was looking at that today to get some connectivity with the library, because the library just spent the money to put those improvements there. It makes perfect sense to have some connectivity with this system. So yes, absolutely. Thank you.
So Mayor, so this is just for the record, so what we're talking about, if you're looking at the diagram, coming out of the exit of the library, Municipal Plaza Road, have the continuous sidewalk on the opposite side of Municipal Plaza Drive, and then make the right up the street.
Right. Okay.
And also, I'd like to see maybe if between Officer Fury and then I guess Captain Sindari, whatever, they could come up with whatever, if that's where recommendation for the sidewalks and the heights is coming from, like based on what? I guess I'm asking.
No, this predates that. This goes back to...
Well, whatever it is. I mean, we haven't started the project now, so if we have to look at it again, we can look at it again. But.
Right. John, do you want to get into the comments that the police department had on this?
I had a meeting with Officer Fury and Captain Zanzari last week to go over these routes. They basically had no objections to them. But I understand your question, Councilman. It's, I guess, the purpose within that height section, is there really a demanding need to do that? So I will engage those two gentlemen again. I will ask the right questions.
Thank you.
And get back to the council.
Well, the same thing on Oak Street, the side where the sidewalk is.
It's going to have to be involving a school, though. So even if it wasn't Heights, it would have to be one of the schools.
Well, I understand that to a point, but I don't think it's worth just putting in sidewalks just to put in sidewalks. There needs to be a reason.
Well, I mean, it's a safe route to school.
I understand that, but what's not safe about the Heights right now? If there's something, I'm all ears.
Right, okay. I just, if we're, it's going to, I'm just saying, it has to involve a school.
I understand, I understand, but, again.
Is there a compelling need for that particular area?
Just
That's
because
your
somebody's
question.
willing to give you sidewalks in a certain area, and if we deem that we don't need them, or that neighborhood deems that they
Right,
don't
yeah.
need them,
Yeah.
then why put them in? But if we do need them, I support it 100%.
And you're telling me that Officer Fiore did not comment on where the sidewalk was on our Oak Street? Side of the street?
I don't recall that, Mayor, if he said anything with regard to that.
Mayor, can I just add one more thing here as well, looking at this? I will say that I would like to also maybe possibly investigate continuing the red line that's going past the school, all the way down Oak Street, cut the sidewalk down Oak Street, all the way down to the rec field, so that we can, these kids that are walking, riding their bikes, so now we got sidewalks going past the tennis courts, past the American Legion, past the school, and connecting with the sidewalk down by the rec field.
That makes sense.
I see my,
That makes sense.
there we go.
Because then if you're coming from the other angle where all the other houses are, then you don't have to walk all the way around to get to the sidewalks.
And Councilman, that's something that we'll also have to talk with the DOT about, just in terms of whether or not it meets the purposes of the grant, which is safe routes to the schools. We would have to confirm, at least for doing it under this project scope, that it was related to providing access to the school.
Right,
as opposed to another facility.
Right, and it goes right past the Valley School property.
Right.
How could you deny the input of a school child?
I said,
I'm not arguing.
Okay.
Councilperson, school child.
Got it. Okay, to be pursued.
Mayor?
Yes.
I believe there was a council person on the other side that also had a comment. That young lady down there, I think she was.
Oh, well, yeah, oh, sorry.
As I look up there, well, I notice a lot of people don't usually go through that route for the school. They usually cut around that more towards the school. So most people that are going to go on that sidewalk are usually like moms with strollers or dog walkers. There's not a lot of people who will actually, well, students that will actually go through there, except a couple bike riders. They'll usually cut around, cut a different route there to get there faster.
You may want to go to the school and talk to the kids.
Yeah.
So what the student and actual person who uses the routes are saying, they don't use that route that we're engineering here. So we don't want to put something in that would in effect take them out of their normal circumstance and put them possibly in a more dangerous circumstance.
Right, and Councilman, we had discussed that sort of issue with the DOT as well. And that was one of the reasons why ultimately we decided not to continue on going down Oak Street and around, for that reason as well. John, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that there were issues with ADA access there. If we were to leave the sidewalk to the steps, which the students use, but you're not providing then ADA accessibility, and that was an issue for the DOT, I think, under the grant criteria.
That is correct. We have to satisfy ADA requirements. So the natural route is to go to the staircase that leads to Valley School. However, it could jeopardize the grant if we leave people there and not take care of the ADA requirements that are hinged on the grant. So that's something we have to talk to the DOT about. We talked about that route, but the initial response from the DOT was this handicap issue that we had to comply with.
Okay.
We'll try again.
And just the only thing I'd say about the sidewalk, I mean, you know, the kids might not be using it now, but if you put in a better route, they might, you know, if you put in a better, and I'm not saying that she's wrong, but if you put in a better route, they might take it because it's easier, you know, but, you know, we got to do what works.
I just have one more thing also, Mayor Pendy. I believe Councilman Waters also brought up another comment concerning the municipal plaza by the library coming out to 202. You want to explain that real quick?
Well, it would make more sense to even put it there because then you don't have the kids all going to this huge intersection where there's more chance that...
Which intersection?
The Ramapo Valley Road and the Oak Street intersection by the, I think the Dunkin' Donuts.
She's talking about the one-way street
But
coming out by the old part of the Valley School
if
straight out
there's
to 202, next to the
a
library.
sidewalk there, then that's a less traveled on road that is easier just to get
We
straight
don't have
to.
a sidewalk there?
I don't think
Parking
so.
lot.
Nope.
Okay.
And it's just
These
as
are all
accessible
ideas I
to
hope our
this.
engineers taking back Just making notes.
And
Thank
Ms. Waters here is was part of the Dogwood community, so she's pretty familiar with walking up and down that area.
Okay, that's good.
You'll give me her contact information.
I'm sure she'll give it to you before you leave.
I'll give her my card.
All right, let's move on. New business, anybody have new business?
Actually, I do, Mayor, if you would. Just to follow up on the recycling center.
Yes, excellent, thank you.
You're welcome. I did sit down with Anthony Marcuselli. We have a couple of potential locations where we can put some dumpsters. The roll-off truck that the DPW is buying is actually capable of handling a 10 or 15-yard dumpster. So, you know, as a rough idea of what it would cost, we kind of just did it in our heads. You know, it's going to be about a $50,000 startup between the dumpsters, pouring some concrete, doing some curb cutting to give us access to some of these areas. You know, the good news is that we can actually get rid of the recyclables, I believe, over in Passaic, New Jersey. So it's not that we have to send a driver from here to Newark, New Jersey, and back every time we want to make a run.
What areas, Lou?
Well, one area is the fenced-in area that goes around the storage bins, where we used to have the old, what I called the junkyard.
But I have a question. Why do we have to drive it? Why can't our recycling hauler?
Well, because of then we have to pay him to do it. If we do
But I
it
thought we
this,
make money on recycling.
you basically defer expenses on recycling. Okay?
Right.
He's still going to charge us to pick up the dumpster every time. Now, if the money for the recycling exceeds what the cost of the trip is, then I guess, yes, we make money. How often does that happen, Rich?
Depends on what the market is at a given time.
Just so everybody understands, we're not getting rid of recycling at your house.
No.
This is because it's come as a result of the alternate weeks of paper, glass and metal, plastic, paper.
Dual stream.
Well, people are forgetting.
So, and to that point, by the way, so, and I guess, Rich, you guys had all worked out the first quarter numbers, and what we've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we've seen an increase in our garbage, and we've seen a decrease in our recycling, which is a direct result of our going to dual stream. And quite frankly, I would tell you that so far with my short tenure on the council, that's the vote I most regret doing, because I think that we inadvertently have not done the community a service by this.
Well, if we all had crystal balls.
That's absolutely true, but so through the recycling, through putting up a recycling center, we maybe can get some of that back, because that will be, you know, once we've paid for this, the initial investment of the 2 dumpsters, which is, I think, $5,000 each. The truck we don't have to buy because we're already buying it, right? Did we pay for it yet?
We have it. We have the hook loader truck. We
Right, so
need
we
to
have,
buy
we have a roll-off truck
containers.
already. So we need the containers, we need to do some construction work, which the DPW can do. You know, one of probably one of the bigger items is we have to build a walking ramp. And when you set the 2 dumpsters down, you have to be able to walk up so that people can dump from a comfortable height.
And may I ask a question? What happens when we go there at the end of the month and there's nothing in the bins? We don't know if people are going to take
No, we
part in
don't.
this.
But just like the mayor said, John, we don't have crystal balls. I will tell you, in my office is in Franklin Lakes, and, you know, their bins are full quite frequently. And they've actually got the larger 30-yard dumpsters, and they seem to get quite a bit of business. So, and they have recycling. Now, they still have single-stream recycling.
No, Franklin Lakes.
Did they go to dual stream?
They never went to single stream. They stayed with dual stream.
Okay, so, but they have this recycling center, which again, seems to generate quite a bit of recyclables for them.
So they have a contractor that comes and picks it up?
I don't know.
No, they're DPW staff.
a 30-yard dumpster there with equipment?
I don't,
Well, couldn't that be a shared service?
I don't know what size dumpsters they
Well, we
have,
have the
but
truck
I
already.
did confirm with Franklin Lakes that they use their staff to, their DPW employees.
our trucks
to
can't haul their
trucks.
dumpsters. They have these
Oh.
big 30-yard dumpsters.
Oh,
I saw one of our dumpsters, look like they're about 10-yard dumps, 15-yard
Okay.
dumpsters. to
Mayor?
me.
yeah.
Can I just ask a question or just make a comment? I'm assuming that there's going to be some type of budget workup on what this is going to cost.
Yeah, as I
That's
said,
what you
we,
said.
And I wonder if we could possibly look at what it would cost to go back to single stream once again.
Yeah.
And find out if it's even cost effective. I mean, I can, several people in the audience right here, shaking their heads saying it'd be nice to go back to single stream.
My
So-
husband would
So I mean,
stand up and cheer.
well, Rich, do you have the numbers yet because I know that you guys had a meeting about
Yeah.
it this morning.
Well, we had a meeting primarily to talk about the recycling depot. I guess the same conversation you had with Anthony. And that was more or less the ballpark cost that we came up with was probably $50,000, $60,000 in startup costs. Based on what Franklin Lakes is doing, you're looking at about 20 to 25% of a full-time employee's time hauling the material as well. So there's a
Well,
a
that's,
fixed
I mean,
cost
that's
to that.
really, that's a difficult thing to say because it's,
Well, it is.
it's
Again,
gonna be.
it's based on what Franklin Lakes.
It's gonna be a half a day to get rid of 2 dumpsters. The time he goes to Passaic and back twice. But whether you can't say it's 25% of his time because you don't know if he's making 1 trip a week, 5 trips a week, or 10 trips a week. And at some time, if he starts making a lot of trips, then we maybe have to look at increasing it.
Right, I'm just basing on what Franklin Lakes indicated through, I think March was the total number of hours
Okay.
spent by staff.
Yes.
Well, we learn from decisions we make, and if we learn from
Absolutely.
mistakes, then we're doing a good job and not
Absolutely.
repeat mistakes. And like I said, if we had crystal balls, we would know that
Absolutely.
this was the wrong move.
Well, I think Councilman Kamal brings up a good point. Maybe we blew this one, so to speak, and maybe the smart move is to go back to where we were. I mean, we all did this with good intentions, and if it's not working, it's
Absolutely,
not
we didn't
working.
do it to be evil.
No, I know. So, are we locked into this?
I don't know, I'm just asking her. I don't know what she was thinking when she did
That's
it.
a conversation I need to have with the borough attorney. I would say, probably not for this year. You just adopted a budget, and, whatever is included in the budget doesn't support the extra cost for the single stream. I can tell you, we started in February. We went back to dual stream, so we only have 2 months of data. April's isn't out yet.
No holidays.
And so, yeah, there's been overall about a 25% reduction in the amount of recycled tonnage through the first 2 months, but only a 3% increase in the amount of garbage over that time. And actually, even when we still had single stream in January, garbage tonnage was up over January 2017 as well. So I do caution that a couple months worth of data may or may not prove to be significant. I think this is an adjustment period for all residents, and we need to give a little bit more of time for adjustment too. But it's something that as we go throughout the year, we can look at the feasibility of going back.
And I agree that I think 2 months is not enough time to get a really good track record for this. But I certainly would tell you that the indication here is that even that the $50,000 that we have in the budget as revenue from this recycling, going to this dual stream, is in somewhat of jeopardy, because here we are 2 months in and we're still 25% down. And this was based on.
If I could chime in here.
Please.
Well, it was based on our maintaining our recycling levels.
Go ahead.
It was based on 85% of it.
If I can chime in here, Rich, it would seem to me that people's habits change from winter to summer, and I think we should wait through the year, as you indicated, to get a total view of how people's habits change. In the summertime, the recyclables are going to go way up because of outdoor parties and a lot of cans and bottles being generated. So we might have a change. And rather than investing in concrete pads and dumpsters, I'd rather go back to the old way. Because we might end up with a double whammy with people not taking advantage of dumpsters either. So we might be investing in something that will be a losing proposition as well.
Did we ever ask to see if we could get the double
That was a great suggestion.
dump truck, the garbage truck with the half one side, half cardboard, half the other?
You're talking about in the same day?
On the same day, so you could get rid of your recycling.
On the same
Every week
truck,
you would put
right.
out cardboard and commingled, but the garbage truck
I
would.
think DPW did ask that, I just don't recall what the response was.
Because
I'll follow up on that.
I would love to be able to just get it, to wait the 2 weeks to get rid of the recycling is a lot. And if we could get rid of both of them, even though we separate them, if we could get rid of them every Wednesday, with a dual truck, then I think that would be a home run.
I agree, because sometimes I drive home
Yeah.
to see what people put out,
Right.
because I forget.
Yeah, I think the response was, essentially then, in terms of frequency and cost, it's essentially the same as single stream, right? Because you have everything getting picked up every week.
But it's separated, so it's actually.
They don't have to separate.
Right, but that's only on the disposal end. On the, the collection company doesn't separate it.
No, but it's
Right.
but the
No, but it would-
homeowner would separate it, and each truck would be able to accommodate commingled.
No, I understand.
And cardboard, so
Right.
that it would be separated when it goes on the truck and stay separated throughout.
Yes,
the
people would have to
process.
keep their
Right, no, I
recycling
I understand
separate.
that. I'm talking about the frequency of collection then essentially becomes what we had with single stream.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And I think that was an issue with the cost. It essentially would be the same as with the single stream, but I'll double check.
All right.
Okay.
One more thing, I'm sorry, make it real
Because
quick.
of
I know the kids have to go back. Can we just maybe get a quarterly update as we're going through this year? Looking
Sure.
forward to next year and making a change, going back to dual stream, next year. So just keep the council abreast on how the trends are in the
Sure.
public as
And
well.
then
Thank
maybe
you.
let's make it a point at maybe the late November, early December council meeting to automatically put the discussion onto an agenda so that we can follow up on this.
Sure, yep, not a problem.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move forward with these children. All right, at this time, there's going to be committee reports, and which way should we start? We'll start with,
She said she wants to go first.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Carmen, you want to go first?
all right, so you know what, we're going to start with Councilman.
Meeting.
All right, here we go. Tonight, my council report will be given by Councilwoman Waters.
So I'll be reporting on public events. The Memorial Day Parade will be on Sunday, 5/27 at 1 p.m. The carnival will start on Wednesday, 6/13 until Saturday, 6/16. The fireworks will be on Friday, 6/15. Please consider joining the Public Events Committee. The next meeting will be Monday, 5/14 at 7:30 p.m. at the Senior Center. Thank you.
Rush, you're out, she's in.
Excellent report.
And then just quick, let me just say congratulations and thank you to all the children that are up here. 34 years ago, yesterday, on my birthday, I was mayor for a day in Fairview, and I love this day. It brings back so many memories, and it really gave me a love for being a part of the town and just doing what you can to make sure the town is run correctly. And really, thank you all for doing this. We appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you.
Councilman Kumala.
Once again, Councilwoman Waters is going to be providing my report.
So here is the Communications Commission report. The last meeting was held on Monday, April 7th at 7 p.m. And we are happy to announce that on April 24th, the Borough of Oakland sent its first official tweet. Welcome to the Oakland Borough's newly activated Twitter page. Visit to catch up with the Borough news and on upcoming events, as well as occasional trips down memory lane in our town history. Our official handle is Oakland Borough.
Whoa.
You're so out.
The commission is looking for volunteers for the TV committee and newsletter committee. Please send an email to the occ@oaklandnj.org if you are interested in serving. So here's an update on the library. The sprinkler work has been completed. The ceilings have been completed. The teen room is done. And the carpet is being installed.
Very good.
Thank you. That's the
And
end.
also, speak about rec, sign-ups, have got notice.
I'm sorry, what?
Aren't you rec?
Yeah, which,
That people should be watching the website for sign-ups.
oh, okay, yeah.
Watch the website for rec signups.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
getting ready for soccer and football signups are happening within the next month.
Okay, the next
And there'll be a
one
tweet going out from that as well.
is Council President Bialy.
Council President Bialy.
Presenting my report tonight will be Council President Evan Gentili with the report, and Evan, it's all yours.
Senior Center report. After over 25 years working in municipal government, there will be an open house retirement reception honoring Rose Burrick at the Oakland Senior Center on Thursday, May 31st, 2018, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. We congratulate Rose on her many years of service in the Oakland Borough and in the Borough of Oakland, and wish her many healthy and happy years of retirement in the future. We will surely miss Rose and her signature cup of coffee. Best of luck, Rose. The Oakland Senior Center art show on display at the Oakland Library has been extended to Wednesday, May 23rd. If you haven't yet attended the show, please stop at the library and view the creative display of paintings and pencil drawings created by our very own talented seniors. Thanks to Jack Ackerman for the update news on the extension of the senior art show. There will be dancing and lunch at the Brownstone in Patterson on Tuesday, May 22nd at 11 a.m. Entertainment by Joe Zizza and friends. The lunch will include 2 drinks plus chicken and pork as well as dessert. Reservations are a must and no refunds. Tickets are $45 for senior club members and $48 for others. Please contact Romeo at 201-644-0384 for tickets.
Oh, yeah, you got one more.
Tomorrow is a senior club meeting. Membership is open to newcomers. Join them at noon time for a meeting and a presentation on prescription medications given by Valley Hospital. DPW report. This Saturday, May 12th, is the Oakland shredding event. Please bring any confidential documents you wish to shred to the Borough Hall parking lot on this Saturday from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. National Day of Prayer.
Last week.
Last week?
Was held last week.
Was held last week with many representatives of churches in the area. Councilman Bialy attended on behalf of the borough. It is a 45-minute prayer service.
And that's our report, except I have one more late breaking news. This morning I went to the Rockland Electric symposium on the smart meters. Smart meters have started to be installed in Bergen County. They started May 1st in Mawa. And the smart meters will be coming into Oakland. You receive everybody in Oakland received their 90-day notice yesterday. You'll get a 45-day notice and a 7-day notice as the time approaches for the installation of these smart meters. Now, the smart meters will eliminate the need for meter readers and will also give you opportunity to read your meters on a 15-minute basis if you have nothing else to do in your life. But it will also record voltage data, outage data, and it will report events and alarms to the homeowners, which we hadn't before. So the concept is the meter will be a mini computer, and you'll have the option to opt out. A lot of people have this reservation about Big Brother looking over you, but there'll be no personal data taken or transmitted out of the house. It'll only record electrical data. There'll be, on every utility pole, will be a pickup where the meter will transpond information to the pickup, and there'll be a second pickup which will send that information from one utility pole to another utility pole till it gets all the way back up to Rockland Electric. So this is going to be technology starting, believe it or not, 33 states have this already. And everyone has the option to opt out except Pennsylvania, I was told. So we'll be starting probably in about 3 months, and we'll be finished by the beginning of next spring with installation all through the borough of Oakland.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman.
Councilman Levy.
You're up. Councilman Carley's going to take over for me today.
The Flood Commission will meet on Monday, March 14th. at 7:30 p.m. at the Senior Center. The Station Park Committee will meet next week. The Grant Committee will meet later this week. There is nothing to report for downtown redevelopment. That's it.
Tomorrow night. What's tomorrow night?
Thursday.
And where will you be?
Planning board.
Oh, yeah, planning board.
Okay, planning board meeting tomorrow
Planning
night.
board meeting. I told her that, she forgot.
Planning.
Councilman Knapp.
And Councilman Nav.
Okay, we have Carly again.
The First Aid Squad will meet June 4th. The Municipal Alliance will meet on June 11th. The Fire Department will meet on June 18th. The quarterly public safety meeting with all the agencies will take place in June, but the date still needs to be determined. The Great Oak Park Committee will meet on June 4th. Tom Vanderbeck has been clearing the Great Lawn, which should be done in about 3 weeks. Once complete, we will seed the area, and we are leaving lots of trees for shade. We have funds for band shell, which should be installed next spring. We are working on raising funds, and we applied for a grant to complete the driveways. Catherine Bonini has been working on her Girl Scout Gold Star project. She will be installing 5 signs around Great Oak Park, which will identify Pleasureland artifacts. She held a bake sale at the rec field this past Saturday to raise funds. We hope to have everything ready and hold a ribbon cutting ceremony in early June. A Boy Scout is taking 2 old historical signs found during the cleanup and hopes to make them mounted like highway signs and installed within the park. The Environmental Commission will begin building a butterfly garden this spring. They met with the committee at our last meeting to discuss possible locations. We have 50 bird and bat houses donated 3 years ago. A Girl Scout is looking to start the process of installing them around the park.
Good job.
Excellent. Okay.
Just drop the mic.
Motion, open for public discussion. Second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have to give your name and address again.
Frank Monaco, 60 Thackeray. 3 things. Number 1, to the young people up there, I think you did an excellent job, and your parents should be very proud of you, because I'm proud of you. Okay? Number 2, sidewalks. Don't you have the right-of-way from the middle of the street, I don't know if it's 12 or 15 feet, to each side of the property line to do what you want?
It's not doing what we want, it's also for the funding from Safe Streets, Safe Routes to Schools.
Safe travel to
Right.
school or something.
Well, only because you questioned that somebody complained, wasn't happy or whatnot. But I always thought the town needed the sidewalks.
Yeah, but you don't want people to be unhappy.
Now, the third thing is the recycling. You were talking about dumpsters and this and that. Maybe I should make a suggestion. You can get small compactors. This way you don't have to do it every week, maybe once a month, to transport, and you'll save time and money that way.
Good idea.
Our DPW committee will look into
I'm
that.
gonna ask Anthony about it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, well, if you need any help, I can make a couple of calls and maybe get some information.
Well, stop, at that point, you...
I'm not in the business.
You'll
so-
talk to Councilman Levy afterwards.
All right, well, I'm just saying, I did it when the
Yeah,
garbage,
you'll talk to Councilman Levy later.
when the town took over the garbage, that was done because of me, many years ago. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
you'll talk to him after
young
the
people,
meeting.
you did an excellent job.
Frank, I got one more thing to say. I heard Jerry Aguilar was up here before, and she mentioned that mayor over there that's up on the board
Yeah.
was a produce market. I said to myself, the only guy I ever knew that had a produce market in town was Frank Monaco.
Frank Monaco, yes.
I've had so many businesses, I forget what they are.
All right, anybody
Anyway,
else?
good night, and thank you very much.
Anybody else? Then,
Close for public discussion. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
who's going to do bills to be paid?
Rich?
Since that
I can do it,
council-
I'm
Oh, Russ is.
Bills to be paid, bills already paid, $466,476.97. Total bills to be paid, $395,244.96. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? What do you say?
Roll call?
Councilman Bio.
Yes.
Do we need a first and a second?
Councilman Knapp. Councilman Kumar.
That's you.
Hold on, he doesn't give me a chance to answer.
Wait, haven't let them answer.
He's just ripping right down the attendance.
He didn't give me an answer. You
Councilman
have to-
Knapp.
All right, so Councilman Knapp is a yes.
Alright, Councilman Kumala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Before we adjourn, Jessica Pendy has certificates to hand out.
Yes. That's mine.
All right, it's a certificate for everybody to see. It says, Certificate of Recognition, Jessica Pendy, Student Government President, for participation in student government meeting held May 9th, 2018, signed, and I signed it. And now, Jessica Pendy, who acted as the mayor tonight, the student mayor, will be handing out the certificates.
Carly Spinella.
Yay, go me.
You talked, girl.
Right.
Evan.
Keep the levity down.
I can't get up. I'm stuck.
There you go, Evan.
Mayor, I must say, the only reason Evan is sitting up so high because he has a very low seat.
My water.
He's sitting on my briefcase, which has all my file folders, and I just remembered I have a piece of blueberry pie in there.
No longer.
And Giacomo's.
I think I did it.
There you go.
Thank you. Now, before we conclude, and Jessica is going to ask for a motion to adjourn, I think we should congratulate Ms. June. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. Thank you. So at this time, this is your last official business to do tonight. You're going to ask for
Motion
to
to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody opposed? The meeting is now adjourned. Here, you press the gavel.
Good job.
And the paper a couple times.
You did very good, very good.
Excellent.
Click the pen.